So a few conservatives over the weekend decided to do something charitable, something noble, maybe something a little bit trollish, possibly. It's hard to really kind of figure out exactly what it is or to fit it all in one camp because it's many different things. But this was involving the Daily Wire team, kind of spearheaded by Matt Walsh, and they were going to take this GoFundMe and contribute money to AOC's grandmother. Now, this is because of a tweet that AOC put out a few days ago that said, "Just over a week ago, my Abuela fell ill. I went to Puerto Rico to see her, my first time in a year because of COVID." And she goes on to say this is her home, and then Hurricane Maria relief hasn't arrived. Trump blocked relief money for Puerto Rico, and the people are being forced to flee ancestral homes, and developers are taking them. So this was kind of a Trump slamming tweet. Obviously, Trump's been out of office. I'd have no idea once again, but they have to continuously bring up Trump to prove or say anything nowadays, even though he just can't get out of their headspace. So this was obviously a big virtue signaling kind of tweet to say, oh, feel bad, slam Trump, he did something wrong, therefore feel bad for me, for my grandmother, etc. Well, the thing was that I don't think she really expected for conservatives to literally call her on that, kind of to call her bluff, really, and start a fundraiser for her grandmother. So Matt Walsh actually tweeted out saying, "Shameful that you live in luxury while allowing your grandmother to suffer in these squalid conditions." Because, of course, AOC is not poor. She's making well over $180,000 a year. That's not including her merchandise line, if you recall, where she's selling sweatshirts for $63 a pop, just and et cetera of that as well. But Walsh went on to say that virtue signaling isn't going to fix her grandmother's roof. So we are. Let's all kick in to help AOC's Abuela's ancestral home. Any amount is appreciated, but the cost of a monthly lease payment on that Tesla is around $499, because apparently she bought a Tesla recently or something like that. And then it says that all proceeds will be donated to her grandmother if she will accept them. Well, here's the thing. So they actually wound up raising about $100,000 for this cause, which was really good. But I think everybody kind of saw this in many different ways. It's a bit of a troll. It's a bit of a calling AOC on her bluff. It's a bit of a charitable act at the same time. But the thing is that as soon as I saw this, I'm thinking to myself, she's not going to accept that money. There's no way this is going to work in your favor. You're going to either look like a fool to them, they're going to just completely ignore what you're doing, but either way, that money's never going anywhere towards her. So doing this is nothing but a way for a bunch of people to basically promote their own names, a way for us to kind of troll on the I guess the outset of it, or to show that, you know, capitalism can be actually extremely beneficial when people are uniting for a cause, which is true. But I never committed to it because I knew that was going to happen. And guess what? That's exactly what actually happened. So they were unable to even get the funds to her grandmother entirely, because apparently when GoFundMe, whenever you do a GoFundMe on someone else's behalf, they contact that family. When they contacted that family, they said they didn't want anything to do with it. Now, I'm assuming that probably AOC contacted them and said, hey, don't accept this money because that would allow them to get a win against us. But in reality, the win was going to happen regardless, because AOC is a liar. That's what this is all about. This was never about the money. It was never about her grandmother. We know that she's a hypocrite. We know that she goes on Twitter and lies repeatedly about certain things. So it's no surprise that she's not going to allow her family to take this money either. Because for them, that's not what they want to do. And I posted about this as well over the weekend. Democrats don't want your money. They don't want your charity. What they want are your tax dollars. They want it forced out of your wallet and put to the things that they want it to be put towards. Because when they're getting your tax dollars, they can allocate it to things that you have no idea about. They can throw that money to the Smithsonian Institute, or they can donate it to help fund abortions. It's completely out of your control and you have no idea what's going on. They don't want your charity because charity tells you exactly what it's for. It's for a specific cause. That's what it is. They don't want your charity. They never have. It's the kind of the core Democrat tenet. They don't even give to charity. So why in the world would they want to accept charity on behalf of this group of conservatives on Twitter trying to come together to raise money? So it's kind of a waste of time from the very beginning if you really think about it. I get, yeah, it's a charitable act. I'm not saying anything against it, but it was a bit of a troll as well. And I think anybody that's paying attention and knows AOC to be the liar that she is, we know what the truth is. We know that she's a liar, and we knew that if you were paying attention, that none of this was ever going to wind up getting any money towards her grandmother whatsoever, because that's what they do. And let this be a record for anybody else in the future. If they say something like this, where they're like, oh, my mother's suffering because of Trump or something. Look, we can raise $1 million for them. They don't want your charity. They never have. They never will. And we can choose to use that opportunity to virtue signal or and at least in our specific situation, to promote our names and put a bunch of donations towards this thing so that we can kind of all culminate together. Or we can actually commit to charities that really are actually legitimately important instead of these ones that we know inevitably will fail being given to people that we know are also liars, like AOC in this particular situation. That's the real thing here. And the fact is that AOC is kind of low-hanging fruit. It's not hard to point out her hypocrisy. We've done it a million times before, and it will continue to happen. But, just another situation of some controversy going on, some weirdness with this whole entire GoFundMe situation. So, with that being said, it's just a kind of an odd situation in general, but once again, it didn't really go anywhere. It really didn't amount to much of anything besides just proving once again for the millionth time that AOC is a liar, that we know her to be. You just watched a clip from The William Hall Show. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe.